Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium, where last night the Royals beat the Twins 5-2 after Minnesota won the first two games of the series. So with a victory today, the Royals can end where they began this series, and that would be 2.5 games back of Minnesota for that second wild card spot. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery are coming up. We spent last night before the game started talking about how it was the Minnesota Twins that were making all the big plays and getting all the big hits. Last night it was the Royals, really in all facets of the game.
It was great to see the consistency in all three areas you need to win baseball games in the major leagues. Great starting pitching. I mean, not good. All right, I'll go with strong. Strong is the key. They've got to get that again today. But look at the defense. You want that? You got it. Look at the replay. That's right. He's out. But this double play turn right here was sweet. That helped him get out of a jam. This is important. But you know what? You got to have the timely hits. Look at Gordo. Opposite field with some strength. That really got him back in. And Haas is being as consistent as ever. The timely hits are huge. Hopefully we can continue to see that. This is as big a game as they've had all year today.
And it will be Jason Vargas on the mound today for the Royals. He has been outstanding against Minnesota as a member of the Royals. Baseball on Fox Sports Kansas City is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less. Well, early in the season, it was Danny Duffy, Ian Kennedy, Jason Vargas really solidified the Royals starting rotation. The other two spots were kind of up in the air, and lately that's been flipped. Jason Hamill and Jacob Junis have been the two most consistent starters.
Yeah, and really Ned, he didn't care who he's getting it from. At this time in the season, their backs are against the wall. They've got to have him stand up. Today, it's Vargas. Now he's had some issues. We know that. See the elevation? The elevation, when you don't know, when you're not overpowering, can be hit hard. So staying down in the zone is going to be his key today. Now, if he's out over the middle and it's down, that's okay. He's going to hit the ball to somebody on the ground. Do not let it get airborne. Step up today, Vargy. He's got it in him.
Joel and Monty are coming up next. as the Royals will face the oldest major leaguer today, Bartolo Colon.
Eyes on you. It is Star Wars Day out here at the K. Darth Vader's in the house, and the Royals looking for a victory against not the evil empire of the Yankees, but the Minnesota Twins. You're a big Star Wars guy in the last year, right?
Yeah, I've really kind of tried to brush up the last couple of years.
All right, let's focus on pitching instead. You've paid attention to that many more years than since you discovered Star Wars recently. And Bartolo Colon is a guy that has been at it many years. Tell us about a guy that made his debut back before you retired.
Yeah, he's a guy that's been around forever, but he knows how to get people out. I kind of like the Royals' chances today, however. He's going to throw about 80% of his pitches to be either the fastball, four-seam, or two-seam variety, and the Royals, as we know, do extremely well against fastball pitchers. So I think it really kind of plays in. Maybe the force will be with the Royals today as we look at his numbers with the Twins. He's actually done a nice job with them.
Yeah, that's our key in the driver's seat. Nice job on the "May the force be with you" reference. I think most guys in the league have a great appreciation, though, for Bartolo Colon. He does not look like an athletic guy. Let's just come out there and say that. Darth Vader could probably get him. I don't know where else to go with that, but he'll be a tough challenge for the Royals today, and we have got much more coming up from Kauffman Stadium. It is the series finale. Can the Bats keep on going? 5 runs in each of the last 2 games. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, back after this.
Baseball on Fox Sports Kansas City is brought to you by the Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting, full-size pickup on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. By the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by Ford, going further so you can. It's the final game with the Minnesota Twins this season today. 3 weeks to go in the regular season. And with a win today, the Royals will be just 2.5 back in the wild card. The lineups in the first pitch are coming up. Mostly sunny, 82 degrees, as the Royals hope for a 4-game split with the Minnesota Twins. Bouncing back last night with a 3-run bottom of the 8th inning and taking game 3 5-2 after Minnesota had won the first 2 games of the series. It is Star Wars Day, which was preceded by Yoga Day. And so I don't know which character gave you the biggest thrill, but I saw R2-D2 in the lobby just a few moments ago.
Okay. I saw several Star Wars characters that I liked and enjoyed and got a picture of them and actually tweeted it out to the people. May the force be with the Royals today. Big game coming up.
Minnesota has still scored the most runs in the major league since August the 1st, but last night were held to just 2 runs by Jacob Junis, who went 6 1/3, Mike Minor an inning and 2/3, and then Brandon Maurer got the save, his 22nd of the year, his 2nd since joining the Royals. And Ned Yost, with the media in his office before the game today, he said he had a good feeling when he woke up this morning about Jason Vargas taking the mound today.
Yeah, no, and his teammates have the good feeling too that are playing behind him. He's due for a win. There's no question about it. He's had a tough time, certainly. You know, but the Royals haven't scored a lot of runs for him, really, so you can't take it all on his shoulders, although he's missed in the strike zone quite a bit. The Royals have just scored a total of 4 runs in his last 4 starts, so he needs a little bit of support in order for him to get a win. They're counting on him big time. Fastball change, curve, 3 pitches, keep him down. That's his key. Ford around the horn. Royals defense. Salvador Perez has been really good recently, especially last night. Those 2 throwouts were key to the victory. Also, he's thrown out 30% of runners in his career, Salvador Perez, and that 30% mark, that's a very good throwing out percentage. He's been a star, no question.
And our umpiring crew, led by Joe West, the crew chief, in his 40th year As a big league umpire, he has umpired more than 5,000 major league games, with Alan Porter behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. And while I have a moment, I want to say thank you to Joe West and the umpiring crew. They autographed the baseball for me before the game last night. Joel brought it up to the booth and got a chance to go down there and visit with them and thank them. And so I really appreciate that gesture.
For your 3,000th
right.
Royals broadcast last night. Yeah, you know, Joe West only has 2,000 more games over you.
That's right, only.
Yeah, way to go.
Dozier rips it foul off the side wall. 1 ball and 1 strike. He is driven in 2 in the first 3 games, and he only has 2 hits. One ball, 2 strikes. In the first half, he was an all-star, 12-3 with a 2.62, and it's been a struggle in the second half. No struggle there. There's his trademark pitch, a changeup, and he strikes out Dozier to begin the game.
Yeah, you know, I don't think anybody, including Dave Island, the pitching guru for the Royals, expected Vargas to jump out and get 12 wins and be an all-star in the first part, especially after just throwing 12 innings last season. But he did hit a wall, obviously, after, you know, it's a great workload, and he's been able to not been able to keep the ball down and out of the zone like he did in the first half. So they've been hitting him. Nice start here.
Joe Mauer is the designated hitter today, and he takes a strike. He has 5 hits and 3 walks in the first 3 games. Batting at .305. He with 3 batting titles, the only 3 ever by an American League catcher. Changeup. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He lost a 14-game hitting streak on Wednesday in Tampa Bay, but he's reached safely in 18 consecutive games. Merrifield charges, gets it over to Hosmer, 2 down. And so far that changeup is looking really good.
Yeah, you know, he's not afraid to throw it to lefties as well, and that's a very good Fuller type pitch. It gets the offensive player off balance, and that's the whole key to good pitching.
He has good career numbers against Minnesota, 3.58 ERA, but as a Royal, his ERA against Minnesota is 2.14. And if you go just over his last 3 starts as a Royal, his ERA is 0.50. All of that looks really good going into a very, very important game for the Royals today.
No question.
Here's Polanco with 2 down. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Vargas in that first half, where his numbers were all-star-esque, used the defense a lot. That means pitching to contact, keeping the ball down below the knees. Hitters looking forward to hitting it, and they're out in front on their front foot, mainly right-handed hitters, and that's what most managers put in there against the left-handed pitchers, right-handed bats, because the breaking ball coming in is a little bit easier to hit. And there it is. Uh-oh.
That was a nasty hop, and that should be a base hit for Polanco. That ball came up and got Moustakas on the shoulder. No, it's going to be called an error. Wow.
One, two, the second hop hit the lip, and so if it hits the lip between, that's the grass and the dirt area right there, that sometimes will be given a hit.
And it always looks like an easier play in slow motion. So Polanco is on with an error, and now Eduardo Escobar, first pitch swinging, and why not, the way he's been going. 2 home runs in this series, 6 this year against the Royals. And here's what he's done in his last 5 home runs, 10 driven in against the Royals.
Had a chance to talk with him before the game, and I said, what does Jose Ramirez have over you? And he says, a couple of years of playing every day in different positions. He has more reps, he has more at-bats. And I said, but you look just as confident. And he said, that's the word. The key word is I'm confident I can help my team win. So he's been a big part since Sano especially has left.
One and two.
Tell you what, getting ahead is key for any pitcher, for sure. But with Vargas, you know, and the 88, you know, 85, 88 mile an hour fastball doesn't have the ability to blow it by guys. So you get ahead of him, now you swing on his terms.
Polanco running on first movement. He is out. So that picks up the air, and Vargas ends up facing 3 hitters in the top of the first inning. Here's the Royals lineup today, and they are facing the oldest active pitcher in the major leagues, Bartolo Colon, who signed with the Cleveland Indians 24 years ago. He really struggled with the Braves, and then his first start with Minnesota was a bad one, but he was able to turn things around. And this is a man who has played for just about everybody and has really been a blessing for the Minnesota Twins.
Ton of experience, no doubt about it, but 80% fastballs, and he has variations of those fastballs, obviously. Sinker, four-seamer, and when he changes speeds with those pitches, it develops into 2 and 3 other pitches. So he's got 4 variations of fastball, and then he'll throw a slider every once in a while in a change. Very often, very seldom.
It's interesting how his velocity has gone down dramatically as he's gotten older, which was to be expected, but he still throws a lot of fastballs.
That's right, because he's mastered the changing of speed part of that craft. When you change speeds, nothing disrupts the timing more to a hitter than changing speeds with your fastball.
Rosario in right field will make the play on Witt. 1 down.
Minnesota Twins defense, they've got a couple of guys in there with first starts in the series. Kenny's Vargas at first base. He's a big target over there, that's for sure. Andrianza in left field, and Jimenez, the catcher, behind the plate. He's got a good throwing arm. Good athlete out there in left field. Andrianza.
Lorenzo Cain started that 3-run bottom of the 8th inning last night with a single. Paul Molitor used 5 pitchers in that bottom of the 8th inning. And it took his 4th pitcher to get the first out. Wide open on the right side. Dozier, the second baseman, was on the left side. Cain is not running at 100%. And that's what prevented another infield single for him.
Sure did.
Well, when you're 44 years old, you're going to be leading the major leagues in several categories among active players. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. And those are the categories, including wins, 239. Here's another number to put his career into perspective. As Melky Cabrera takes a strike. Bartolo Colon got his 100th career win against the Royals 14 years ago.
Wow. Oh, Bart.
A shot to Vargas. 3 up, 3 down for the Royals in the bottom of the 1st. Stopper, and this is Jose Abreu, who needed a triple to hit for the cycle against the Giants last night in Chicago, and in his last at bat in the bottom of the 8th inning, he drove in a couple of runs and got a triple. The 6th player in White Sox history to hit for the cycle.
And that ballpark is not conducive for triples. So good job, well placed, and good hustle.
That is launched foul by Escobar.
Be a nice little bragging point for you when you're done talking with your kids and your grandkids about hitting for the cycle. Whenever you see it done, when you're an old man, you're going to say, "Oh, your pops did that one time too." Good storytelling session.
Driven to left, right at Alex Gordon. Escobar is out. He was at the plate when Polanco was caught stealing to end the 1st inning. And now Vargas will get Byron Buxton. Buxton put Minnesota in front in the 6th inning last night with his 14th home run of the year, his first against the Royals. And then Alex Gordon tied it in the 7th with a home run. And then the Royals ran away with 3 in the 8th. Changeup, and he hasn't thrown a bad one yet. 1-1 on Buxton. Curveball.
It's a beauty. Look how it starts way up there and it comes right straight down. Very good break. Good finish too. That's where you want that to finish, to the right-handed batter's right leg. Keep her down.
He's not throwing that pitch as often, at least in his last 3 starts.
It's a field pitch, a lot like the changeup is. And he hasn't been able to get the right release point. It's been hanging. And it hangs to left-handed batters too. That's one of the reasons why left-handed batters are hitting over 300 off Vargy.
Remember early in the year we were talking about how Vargas always seemed to find the right time to throw his curve because he was getting a lot of called strikes with it. Hitters weren't ready for it.
Yep.
He was getting ahead in the count with his curve. 3-2 on Buxton. And in Vargas's last start on Tuesday at Detroit, he only went 2 innings and gave up 7 runs. And his comments after the game included him thinking maybe he was becoming too predictable. Drilled into deep right center field, and Buxton will have an easy triple. And with him, you never know. He might try and turn it into an inside the park home run, but he'll be at third with 1 out.
Perfect placement on that for his 6th triple. Had a lot of hang time. Okay, the ball stayed in the air a long time, but it was well placed in the gap. Now Lorenzo Cain is playing at about 80% right now, and Melky couldn't get to it as well. But you know, you got to get it in quickly. In one little bobble and he's coming home. And the challenge for an inside the Parker, that brilliant speed he's been blessed with.
The infield is in for Rosario, and he hits it to left field, and that's deep. Alex gets turned around and makes the play before he slams into the fence.
Hello. Great timing, perfect judgment, and a Gold Glove catch. No question, robbing Rosario. I know there's a ton of left fielders out there. 80% of left fielders aren't making this play. They're going to get turned around like a pretzel. Look what's in front of him right there. As minute he caught that ball, the wall snuck up on him, but quickly gets up. Vargy tips his cap, and they got a run on it, but could have more. Or be set up for more had he not made the catch.
And adding to the difficulty, anytime you see the reflection of the sun on the sunglasses, that was something else that he had to deal with, trying to find that ball in the air.
No question about it. And if you look at the shade behind the players on the left side of the field, you'll see the shade is directly behind the player. That means the sun is in your face. If it's off, if the shade is off to the side, you got a chance to not lose it. But to have glasses is very important. You see that? It's taking the glare away. And those might be extra dark, which is good because that sun is awfully bright when that ball gets up in it.
2-2 on Kenny Vargas. He appears for the first time in this series. Foul. Now, to finish the point about the curveball, maybe Vargas is onto something, because I feel like hitters are swinging at that pitch a lot more now than they were earlier in the season. That was a changeup. Alex will hustle over to cut it off. Vargas is going to dig for 2. And the throw is just a little bit offline, enough for Vargas to get to second base with 2 down.
There's the catch right there up against the wall Alex just made that saved a run. See where this is? Up. Now it's on the outside part of the plate, but it's elevated. Anything elevation is trouble for Vargas. Got to be able to keep the ball down. He earned that double. Ooh. It's a big man right there.
Here's Chris Jimenez, the Minnesota catcher today. He has appeared as a defensive replacement earlier in this series. One and one.
Just in case you're wondering, the height and weight on Kenny's Vargas, who just had a leg double there. 6'5", 275, that young man right there in his second year in the big leagues.
At least.
Yep. That's what he's listed at in their media guide.
Only he and the dirt in front of second base knows exactly how much he weighs. Broken bat, Escobar to the middle. Inning over. So the Twins get one, but the Alex Gordon play in left field prevented another run.
This one, and Bartolo Colon back to the mound, 44 years young and still doing his thing. Joel Goldberg back here at Kauffman Stadium, and for Bartolo Colon, obviously he's a guy that's been at it a long time, but let's put some things in perspective here. He made his big league debut April 4th, 1997 for the Cleveland Indians. On that day, Raul Mondesi Jr., he wasn't even one yet. And he, by the way, was teammates of Raul Mondesi Sr., faced Raul Mondesi Sr. Jason Vargas was 14 years old that day. Colon's first career strikeout was Matt Williams. That big league debut, there were 19 players in the box score that were teammates of Rex Hudler's at some point. Ryan, you mentioned the 100th career win. Mendy Lopez and Mike Sweeney homered that day. Also, Bartolo Colon has faced 15 players that are now enshrined in Cooperstown, including Frank Thomas, Pudge Rodriguez, and even his manager, Paul Molitor, who was 2 for 8 against him with 2 walks and a strikeout. That's just the 15 that are there right now. Ichiro Suzuki has well over 100 at-bats against him, so even more to go. Bartolo Colon has faced many, many hitters over the years.
1-2 on Eric Hosmer. I'll just add to Joel's point, he has faced 2 fathers and sons, Prince and Cecil Fielder, Eric Young and Eric Young Jr. And one of the pictures that we showed while Joel was going over his career was Colon in an Expos uniform. He is the last member of the Montreal Expos still playing in the major leagues.
Yep. Bartolo's had a great career, there's no doubt about it. But I had a meeting with him a couple of days ago, got to go talk to him and spend some time with him. And I asked him what was his best season that he's had. And, you know, he won the Cy Young in '05 wearing an Angel uniform. Oh, beautiful.
Adrianza cuts it off in the corner and holds Hosmer to a single.
And he told me that that was certainly a good year for him, but it wasn't his favorite year. His best season was when he spent half the season with the Cleveland Indians and half with the Expos. He won 10 games for the Expos and 10 for Cleveland. And he said that to me was a lot of fun. Not only was I on that year, but I got to meet different players from 2 different teams and became friends with all those guys. So it was a very fruitful year for him. It was impressive. You know, you would think somebody would say, well, Cy Young was my best year, or an MVP. Those are standout seasons that don't happen to too many baseball players.
Salvi has only 1 hit so far in this series, but it was a big one. He had an RBI double in that 3-run 8th inning last night. And there's his second hit. The Royals have 2 on, nobody out.
Colon's going to come right at you. Hit it right back where it comes from. You got a good chance for getting a base hit. It's a big hole.
And now Mike Moustakas still tied with Steve Balboni for the Royals single season home run record. He has 1 in his last 20 games. Backing out of play. Minnesota just got a run in the top half of this inning, and now the Royals are trying to answer. And Moustakas will do everything he can right here to elevate the ball. Minnesota has turned 8 double plays in this series. And it was a bit ironic that when the Royals scored their 3 runs in the 8th inning last night, 2 were on ground ball base hits. And it seemed like everything else that's been hit on the ground in this series has turned into 2 outs.
Yep. You know, they were able to get the W despite it, but look, this is not the situation you want to do it here. You jump right back and help Vargy get him a run or 2.
Right to Buxton in center field. Moustakas broke his bat, and that's out number 1. You know, getting back to that year you were talking about, Hud, that was a tremendous trade. Bartolo Colon going from the Indians to the Expos. Do you know who the Indians got from the Expos in that trade? Cliff Lee, Grady Sizemore, and Brandon Phillips.
Wow. That's 3 star players.
That's right up there with the Zach Greinke to the Brewers, and what the Royals got in return, a turning point in the history of the franchise. Moss takes high, 1 ball and no strikes.
And asking Bartolo, how much longer do you want to pitch? he said that he would like to finish strong with Minnesota this season, and if he does, another year. So anybody that would offer him a contract, he's having too much fun.
That is fair and down into the corner. The game is tied as Hosmer scores. Salvi stops at third. Moss has an RBI double, and the Royals indeed answer the Twins in the bottom of the second.
It's a sinker on the inner half at 81 miles an hour. Maybe that was a changeup. But nonetheless, Moss is able to catch it. If he gets underneath it, that's going to be a 3-run homer. It's okay. He'll take it. Moved all the runners over. Second and third. One out. A chance now for Escobar to add on another run here. Looks like Paul Molitor is playing his middle infield back, which is really nice. That's going to give Escobar a better chance to score the run, but just some contact by the mound and not back to it. Stay away from the corners. Think up the middle here.
And he does, and it's down for a base hit. Perez scores. Here comes Moss, and the Royals have 3 in the second inning.
Esky staying hot, thinking right. He knows he's a shortstop. He plays defense in situations like that. You see how his hands came first? Hands stayed inside of the ball. That's how you use the middle into the opposite field. Technician hitting, great job, front step, but these hands are going to come and stay right down through the middle there, inside of the baseball, and use the whole part of the field. Clutch hit.
And now Alex Gordon hits it to left center field. That is down. Here's Escobar coming around third. Alex Gordon has saved a run, and now he's driven in a run. And it is 4-1 in the bottom of the second.
Gotta love the early hacking, early count swinging. Bartolo trying to come right in there for strike one. Ain't happening. Royals aren't letting him breathe. Again, looking for the first pitch. Doesn't have to be in the middle. 86. Now that's his heater. Alex going the other way. Wow, isn't it nice to be able to see Alex Gordon using that side of the field consistently now? The opposite field home run maybe help lock him in a little bit. Open up that side of the field for him. Nice piece of hitting.
He has hit safely in 5 straight games, which ties his season high. Witt pulls it foul outside of third base. He flied out to right field in the first inning. Royals have scored 7 runs in their last 3 innings against Minnesota. And they're going to work early again in the Minnesota bullpen. Nick Turley, who was warming up in the second inning last night when Barrios was struggling. But Barrios never did give up a run in his second inning and ended up going 7 last night. He was able to pull it together and gave up just 2 runs. Colon has given up 4 in this inning. One and one. One and two. You could see the movement on Colon's fastball with those last 2, and neither was 90 miles an hour. Remember, Colon was one of those guys who had early in his career and really pretty deep into his career, where he had the ability where he could be throwing harder at the end of his outing than he was at the beginning of his outing.
Able to conserve and knowing how to pitch. That's the knowledge that pitchers like that gain through the years. Watch out. Whitley slightly out ahead of that one.
He's the subject of our sprint trivia question. Name the 5 active pitchers to win 10 or more games for 4 or more different teams. 5 active pitchers have won 10 or more games for 4 different teams. There's one. So 4 others. Go get him, Hud. That's to the gap in right center field and down. And now Which digging for second. He was able to stay on the bag. He drives in Gordon. And it's a 5-run bottom of the second inning.
That's right. The force is a strong one, but also frenzy style hitting is a formula that the Royals do use. Periodically, we'd like to see it more often. But look, this is what they're doing in this inning. Up at the top of the strike zone, it's not working for Colon. It doesn't work for many pitchers that don't have overpowering stuff, but they'll take it. Continuing to pass the baton on from one to the next. Good hustle. 29th double.
Witt has hit an 8 straight, and now he's in scoring position for Kane. Kane is the 8th man to come up in the inning. There is only 1 out.
Colon awfully quick home. So he's going to be tough to steal on, and really there's no need to steal now. Got a nice little 4-run lead. His scoring position is plenty good for Whitley, unless he sees something we don't.
Down around the end of the bat, and Buxton closes in on it. 2 down. The home runs have been a nice bonus this year, and the Royals have a new team record, but this is really Royals offense at its best right here, the way they've scored 5 and now they've knocked Colon out of the game. In their last 5 games, the Royals have had a 4 double inning, and they've had a couple of 3 double innings, including this one. As you would describe it, that frenzy style hitting.
Beautifully done too, gap to gap.
Nick Turley is a Chevy call to the bullpen with 2 down in the bottom of the second. finish our sprint trivia question today. He is one of 5 active pitchers to win 10 or more games for 4 or more different teams. You had one.
Big John Lackey, a teammate of his back in '05.
How about Scott Kazmir?
Okay. And then you got another one?
I don't.
Well, how about Zach Greinke's got to be in there somewhere.
There you go. And Edinson Volquez.
Wow.
On the Royal.
Huh? Okay, there's Edison. I wasn't sure that Kazmir was on the list. He's still active? Okay.
Injured, but active.
All right.
Nick Turley to face Melky Cabrera. He's the 9th hitter in this inning. And again, Turley was warming up in the 2nd inning last night when Jose Barrios was really fighting it. The Royals had loaded the bases with 1 out in the 2nd, and then Merrifield hit the ball hard but grounded into a double play, and that saved Barrios and the Minnesota bullpen, but not today. Here's Turley in the 2nd inning. And he gets that call, and it's 0-2.
Nice to have a reliable long man. Nick Kisman. Now, would you say that 11.66 is reliable? Well, not really, but I can just tell you the innings pitched 14 2/3 is not much of a sample size. But he's got a good fastball, low to mid 90s, slider curve change.
Melky lined out to Vargas at first base in the 1st. That was as a left-hand batter. Moss, Escobar, Gordon, and Merrifield have driven in runs. Escobar drove in 2. Still no balls, 2 strikes.
Nice to see the offense come alive. I mentioned it earlier. Vargas's last 4 starts, he's got a total of 4 runs of support. He's already got 5 in this one. Way to go, fellas. Way to help him out.
One ball, 2 strikes. Minnesota got a run in the top of the 2nd. The Royals answer with 5, and Jason Vargas has gotten some much needed run support today. Curveball got away from him. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Vargas is not using this as an excuse, but as Hud pointed out, he had only received 4 runs of support in his previous 4 starts. So 1 a game, and now he has 5, and we're only in the 2nd inning.
You want to make ugly with your teammates, the guys who play behind you? Say something about not getting any run support to the press and see where that gets you.
Look out. That'll get Witt to 3rd. So Turley has missed badly with his last 2.
When the first 2 were pinpoint accurate. Huh.
Hit the ball.
He did. Now, a throw down there to 3rd, even though he wouldn't have got Whitley, could have got him when he was popping up off the bag with the tag. So Jimenez might have thrown down to 3rd anyway. With the replay system the way it is, could catch him off.
Melky comes back from 0-2. I'm guessing the rule is different for 3rd than it would be for 2nd, because with 2nd, a wild throw just means 90 feet. To 3rd, if you force it, a wild throw means a run.
Yep, you're right about that.
Eric Hosmer started all this. He led off the inning against Cologne with a single up the left field line. That makes him 8 for 11 in this series, and he is batting .324. And he has another base hit and drives in the Royals' 6th run of the inning.
And Haas again, that is just beautiful swinging. You know, that inside out swing of his is patent. He's got it laid down, that's for sure. And that ball's at the middle. It's up and in the middle, but he's able to keep that swing level. And talk about how he's able to keep that level. The back leg has a lot to do with it. It bends down low a little bit there, especially on pitches that are lower, so it can lower the swing or elevate depending on where the pitch is. The bat stays in the hitting zone a long time.
Salvi guessing on the first pitch and missed a breaking ball that was in the dirt. That number for Hosmer, that's significant. With his number of at-bats, there have only been 5 Royals all time that have hit 400 against one team over a season. None have ever done it against the Twins, and this is the last game between the two teams today. Now Salvi deep in the left field corner. Foul by a foot, maybe less. And if that fan ended up with the souvenir, that's worth taking another look at, because that fan, I'm not sure if he got it or not, but it looked like he was celebrating getting a souvenir. He is right behind the pole.
You could tell by the sound he hit it off the end of his bat. But as strong as Salvi is, he had plenty of distance. And I didn't see it go fair. Maybe it did, but no.
Yeah, the Royals will not ask for a crew chief review. But a foot away from a 9-run inning. Now right center field. That's well hit. Buxton on the run. He's got it. That saved 2 more. But the Royals will take 6. Hosmer, Perez, Moss, Escobar, Gordon, Merrifield, Hosmer again. All hits in the 2nd inning.
Hitting inning for the Royals, top of the 3rd inning now. And folks, just a reminder as you enjoy Coleman, to look forward to Miller time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Jason Vargas is pitching with a 5-run lead. It's still early. He came very close to pitching with a 9-run lead, or excuse me, an 8-run lead And a 7-run lead as Salvador Perez just missed a 3-run home run, and then he just missed a 2-run double. Byron Buxton just ran a mile to take a 2-run double away from Salvador Perez.
You can't expect to get any hits in right center or left center if you get underneath that ball and there's a lot of air underneath it with Buxton out there. He's going to run that ball down. You better line it out there.
Adrianza hits it to Moustakas, who was playing in, so with very little reaction time, Moustakas stabs it with a backhand. 1 down.
Okay, the sound says a lot to a hitter, and especially to a defender. Outfielders, that's part of how they play the ball. Hear that? That's a higher pitch, pure sound. He hit the barrel on that. Yeah, man, that's a long way to run. It didn't even crash into the wall. He had some severe afterburners to slow him down. But Salvi, you could tell he barreled that. Compared to the ball down the line that went foul, big difference. He hit it off the end. Stay with it here.
Escobar picks it out of the sun and gets Dozier, who thought he had a first pitch fastball, and it was a first pitch changeup, and he pops it up.
Nice for Vargas to get 2 quick outs here. Now in the game of baseball, whenever you have the momentum on your side like the Royals do, a nice little 6th-run second, you want to go right out there and shut them down 1, 2, 3 and keep the momentum in your dugout.
Mauer grounded out to Merrifield in the 1st inning. Well, Vargas certainly knows how Bartolo Colon feels. Colon had a 1-2-3 1st inning, and then he was charged with 6 in the 2nd inning. Now Mauer lines it to right, and Melky makes a shoestring catch. So right after the Royals give him 6, with the help of his defense, Vargas has a 1-2-3 top of the 3rd.
That away, Melky. Flash the leather for Vargy.
Not that Bill Clinton. This Bill Clinton has run the Toys for Tots campaign in Johnson and Wyandotte County for over 19 years, accounting for over 60% of the toys collected for the entire Kansas City campaign each year. The retired Marine Master Sergeant has also run the local chapter of the Marine Corps. A scholarship foundation, he has also run that for over 20 years. And in his time with the foundation, his team managed to collect over $1.3 million for scholarships. And he's sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at today's game.
Congratulations, Bill. Way to go. Way to make thousands of young children happy with those toys. That's a great thing.
Two 2-0 on Mike Moustakas. He flied out to center field in the Royals' 6-run second inning. And now 3-0 against Nick Turley. All 6 runs were charged to Colon, one of which scored after he was out of the game. Jimenez to the screen, and it's on the other side. Landing on the railing and ending up down in the crown seats. Attaway, George, nice play.
Yeah, you know,
always nice when George wears his jersey to the game.
It is. You know, you'd think that he would be a little leery of being, you know, noticed by the people by wearing his jersey like that. But I think George likes the people.
Moustakas takes a leadoff walk. That's Turley's second.
And Moose is 30th.
Tomorrow night here on Fox Sports Kansas City, we'll present a special telecast honoring our armed forces. We call it This One's for You. We'll link up live with soldiers from the 35th Infantry Regiment of the Missouri and Kansas National Guards. So this one's for you tomorrow on Fox Sports Kansas City. Brandon Moss really got that inning going in the second. Hosmer singled, Perez singled, and then Moustakas was coming up, and Bartolo Colon got him on a fly ball to center field. So there was always the possibility of a ground ball and a double play and Colon getting out of the inning. But Moss doubled up the right field line to drive in the first run, and the Royals would get 5 more. 1 ball and 1 strike. Escobar drove in 2, Gordon drove in 1, Merrifield drove in 1, and then Hosmer drove in the 6th and final run.
Yeah, and don't let up off the gas pedal. Stay on it. Accelerate right on through tomorrow. The White Sox come to town.
One and 2, and Moss turns away, wondering how he didn't hit that fastball. Our pregame show begins at 6 o'clock tomorrow, not our normal 6:30 time for a 7:15 game. So 1 hour pregame coverage as part of our This One's for You broadcast. 2 and 2. Nick Turley, a 50th round draft pick.
Really? He's effectively wild so far a little bit. Now, I don't know about the effective part. He hasn't been in that long, but he's a little wild. Good for him. You think he'll be as effective as Gerard Dyson? He was a 50th round pick. I don't know. Dyson did a lot.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Gerard's been around a while now. Turley's just getting started. He made his big league debut this year at age 27. He was the Yankees' 50th round pick 9 years ago, the 3rd from last pick in the draft, and the 50th round doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. I didn't think it did, but I didn't realize he's been in the game for that long. His first cup of coffee and he's already got 9 years in. Woo. Go ahead, young man.
Former Royal Dylan G warms up. He made one of the starts for the Twins against the Royals last weekend in Minnesota.
Just missing. Watch out for that one. That's not gonna feel good. Ooh, man, thankfully it hit a seat. Those balls look routine to catch, but they're not, especially barehanded. If you have a glove, it's a little easier, but for fans, man, please be careful. Especially those high pop-ups that come in there like that.
Got him on a pitch down and out of the strike zone. So 1 on 1 out, and Alcides Escobar drove in 2 in the second inning with a single, and then he scored. Our Toyota League leaders looks at Esky's doubles, and last night he reached 30 doubles for the 3rd time in his Royals career, becoming the 3rd Royals shortstop back in 2012 to have at least 30 doubles. He is the only one to do it more than once. Esky's career high is 34. The Royals record for a shortstop is Kurt Stillwell. He had 35 doubles as the Royals shortstop back in 1990. The Twins, Escobar fields, throws to first, and that is a record-tying double play. We'll tell you about that when we come back. The Royals are scoreless in the 3rd. They lead 6-1. Jason Vargas pitching like this for the first 3 innings. Royals need some help in their starting rotation for the stretch drive. The Milwaukee Brewers in the National League Central, they are 3 games back. They took a hit to their starting rotation. Our University of Kansas Health System injury report update. Jimmy Nelson will miss the remainder of the season with an injured right shoulder, diving back into first base.
Never know. Just never know.
And you can already hear the cries from certain corners of the Major League Baseball fan base. That's why you don't have pitchers hit. Well, position players get injured diving back into a base as well.
They do.
If you are a pitcher, that's a rough way to put an end to your season on the bases instead of throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Polanco hits it well to center field. Kane is there. 1 out in the 4th inning. Vargas faced 3 in the 1st. He gave up a run in the 2nd. Alex Gordon saved another run. He faced 3 in the 3rd, and now he has the first batter out in the 4th. Eduardo Escobar with 1 out. He flied out to Alex and left in the 2nd inning. Fastball for strike 1. 1-1 on Eduardo Escobar, who has hit 17 home runs this year. He hit 6 last year. Two balls and 1 strike.
Vargy's always had good tempo, like his rhythm. Throws the pitch, not sure about the count here, throws the pitch, walks onto the grass with his right hand up for the ball. Just give it to me.
Okay, made a nice grab. Two-hand, bare hand grab, sitting in the front row of the second deck.
Check him out. Oh my.
Left his feet.
He did. Look at that doinker. Oh. Haas. That looked like slow motion.
2 down in the 4th inning. The newest item at the Royals Majestic Team Store has arrived. Now on sale at all team store locations is a Royals licensed fidget spinner. That might cheer her up. Get her a fidget spinner. These exclusive fidget spinners feature a design with all 3 hot dogs from the Hot Dog Derby race, available only at the ballpark.
I think it's nap time.
Yeah. Well, it is 2:23 on a Sunday afternoon. It's warm. I am familiar with that sound. So are you.
Yep.
Byron Buxton tripled and scored Minnesota's run in the 2nd inning, and his glove right now is the difference between the Royals leading 6-1 and leading 8-1.
That's just a beautiful changeup right there, Rhino. To watch him do that and sells it with the same arm speed as his fastball. It's great to watch it. It's not so great to stand in that batter's box and swing through it like Buxton just did, because you get frustrated, but you try to contain your emotions of anger and keep your calm and get back in there. Tell yourself, I'm going to get it, and you even look for that pitch. You say, I'm going to look for that changeup this time, and I'm going to get it. You might even belly up a couple more inches and get up on top of that plate. And then when you swing and miss again, that's when you say, Uncle, I'm going to bunt. I'm going to do something. I mean, because you just can't hit him sometimes. That was his heater. Yeah, see, that's a good spot. That's where he wants to be, not in the middle.
Back with a fastball.
Yep. I think I told you, John Tudor had the best I'd ever seen. Knew it was coming, couldn't hit it. Moyer, Glavine, you know, Bobby Ojeda, all those left-handers in their day made a great living with that pitch, like Vargy's doing. Good location there.
Staying with his fastball.
Yeah, but he's keeping it off the plate.
Buxton homered against Jacob Junis last night in a 10-pitch at bat. That was an 8-pitch at bat won by Vargas. And that's Vargas' 2nd strikeout. He's given up 1 run in 4 innings.
Thank you, Dr. Vargas.
At the K, 4th inning last night. Alex Gordon. You know, it's been a long time since I've hit a home run. July 3rd to be exact. Went to the bullpen, opposite field today. Alex Gordon is saying, all right, hey, look, there's a lot of green grass on that side over there. Let's try it again. Drops it perfectly between in left center field. Yeah, Alex is on a roll. Like to see it.
Our Kubota power stats for today. Alex is hitting .467 in a 5-game hitting streak, including today. That home run last night was his 25th against Minnesota. That's the most for him against any team, and the most for any Royal against the Twins. Dylan G is a Chevy call to the bullpen. Bartolo Colon went an inning and 2/3. Nick Turley won an inning and a third, and now G in the 4th.
G, they all know him. His teammates last year of the Royals. Fastball, slider, curve, and a change. Got 4. How about that? Stay hot.
Leadoff man on.
I mean, that is precision. That's precision bunting by Alex. See where he is over here? That's right. That's what you want. You know, you got him out of position. You don't have to be perfect. Just drop her down. Look at that. Look at the hand up. Beautiful. Second bunt of the year for Alex down that line. Great technique.
Whit Merrifield was part of the 6-run second inning. Ball went upstairs. He doubled, drove in a run, and scored a run. And I mentioned back in the second inning that the Royals are really starting to pile up the doubles again. Before Wednesday, the Royals didn't have a single game where they had more than 2 doubles in an inning. But beginning on Wednesday, the Royals have had a 4-double inning, and they've had a pair of 3 double innings.
They'll take them.
1 and 2.
Do you know the difference 5 bunt base hits would make in anybody's average?
Let's ask R2D2.
Yeah, well, you know,
he's calculating the data as we speak.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sure he could spit that out in a heartbeat, but they don't have Dave Holtzman skills. That's for sure. I like the colors, though. I never knew there was another color besides white.
I think the red one, HUD, is from Game of Thrones.
No wonder. Okay.
That was one of our favorite moments of the year. Look at that. That R2D2 provides a little nice cool mist on a warm day.
I didn't realize it. Check it out. Oh, it's great.
I will never forget seeing Star Wars in a movie theater.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I was, what, 5 or 6 years old.
Yep.
I mean, there was never a movie like it before. Lightsabers, lasers being shot out of guns.
The effects.
Yeah, the explosion effects just mesmerized. And now, you know, today's kid would go back and watch Star Wars and would be completely unimpressed based on how far technology has come. But that movie changed everything. I remember that scene. And we've seen this scene far too many times.
Wow.
And that is record-breaking right there. That is the first time in Royals history that they have grounded into 10 double plays in a 4-game series. I had mentioned the record tying ground ball double play that Escobar hit into in the 3rd. That was number 9. And here is number 10. 10 double plays by the Minnesota Twins in this 4-game series. Wow.
Well, definitely hurt the Royals in game 1. Sure helped move the game along and save the pitch count for the pitcher.
One and 2 on Kane. Minnesota has shifted him over to the left. So he goes to the right. And now that double play is even bigger. Kane's at first with 2 down.
Look at Lorenzo Cain. Coming into today's game, hitting .298. That is way too close to 300 here with about 19-20 left to be able to hit 300. Yeah, nice. He's under control. He's just trying to get on base. And I think ever since Ned moved him out of the 3 hole up to the number 2 spot, it's been a good move for him. It's taken the pressure off of him from having to drive in runs and hit homers. Now he can set the table. Let the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, 6 hitters clean you up, knock you in. Missed.
Well, he didn't quite get it. Rosario makes a play in right field. Dylan G has a scoreless bottom of the 4th. The Royals lead 6-1. Royals scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 2nd inning. They knocked out Minnesota starter Bartolo Colon after an inning and 2/3. And Jason Vargas on the other side has given up 1 run, 2 hits in his 4 innings. He'll pitch to Eddie Rosario, Kenny Vargas, and Chris Jimenez in the 5th inning. Vargas has been stuck on 14 wins for a while.
Hey, that's a good sign. Like it. I'm saying that Vargy, a better sign would be him dressed in a doctor's outfit, a mask, and a scalpel in his left hand, and go back to work. We've missed Dr. Vargas, and he looks like he's sharpening that scalpel again. Making some adjustments in between starts, working with Dave Ireland, Ned Yost, These guys are all trying to help him out with certain things in his delivery, his presentation. And so far, so good. I think the runs have helped a lot. It's given him some confidence and given him some room to breathe. Doesn't have to go out there and try to be perfect and hold them down, the opponents. He's done a nice job so far.
Three and two on Rosario. Big bounce, Hud. Almost. Got to know your home field, and you were ready for that big bounce. It just didn't quite make it up here.
I knew it was coming, but I was hoping the mom and her child would get out of the way, and they did, thankfully.
Deflected by Vargas, and you really can't expect him to let that one go by. I mean, that was hit right at him, but he's frustrated because he realized that Alcides Escobar was right behind him.
Yeah, and as great a fielder as he is, I think he's frustrated he missed it. Because he's a competitor, and he has anything that touches his glove, a ball, he's very soft. He likes to turn those balls into marshmallows. Very soft hands.
Vargas against Vargas, and that is inside ball one. Kenny Vargas doubled to left center in the second inning. He's at first base today. Joe Mauer is the designated hitter.
Speaking of Mauer, we almost had a Mauer versus a Mauer last night too.
2-0. No relation. That reminds me of that old, what was it? I think it was a Miller Lite commercial with Brooks Robinson and Frank Robinson. Remember that when they were playing on the Orioles together?
Uh-huh. Frank Robinson, he was great. My little cup of coffee I had with the Baltimore Orioles was special. I got to experience the Ripken way with Senior, Junior, and Billy. And Frank was the hitting coach. And he would always keep a running tab on guys that would call for home runs that would win. There's a strike. You got to get back in here, sir. Excuse me. Yep. Now this is body language for that's ball four, and it might have been. Anyway, Frank brought up the term dialing 8. Who's dialing? Anybody got a call on a home run? Of course, that was back in the day when they had rotary phones, and you don't have cell phones, and so you had in a hotel you had to dial 8 to get a long distance line out. So that's what it is, dialing 8 for long distance. But Frank had fun, and he had a lot less pressure on him when he wasn't the manager. So he was a fun guy, great sense of humor. And he's one of our game's legends. He's up in the front office of the commissioner now, helping them out where he should be.
Now Vargas takes ball 4, and Minnesota has 2 on and nobody out. Jason Vargas's first walk of the day. Royals Charities has contributed $10,000 to both the American Red Cross and Heart to Heart International to support families impacted by recent hurricane disasters. Fans are encouraged to bring monetary donations to Kauffman Stadium through September 13th to help those affected by these natural disasters. Fans can also donate online at caring.com/MLB supports. Caring.com/MLB supports, and we've all been glued to our televisions and our mobile devices as Hurricane Irma is hitting the Florida Keys and onto South Florida. No balls and 2 strikes.
Yep, a lot of people in the ballpark here today are affected by it, their families. Put him in the lane here, 0-2. Change up, down, away.
Or a strikeout.
Okay.
His third.
Vargas has induced 16 ground ball double plays, so that's a nice number for him. And that's the pitch to do it on right there. Get that right-handed to try to pull it that right in. Little ground ball to Eske.
Big matchup right here. Vargas and the number 9 hitter Adrianza. Trying to do whatever he can, and I'd have to deal with Dozier, who's on deck. Adrianza has 2 home runs. Dozier has 29. 1 ball and 1 strike. So if Vargas was going to, as you put it, Hud, put one in the lane, now would be a really good time. And not let that guy get the opportunity to get Minnesota right back in this game.
Adrianza, nice athlete. We're going to see more of this young man in the big leagues as soon as the opportunity waits. Gives him a chance to play every day or more often. Can run, does a lot of things well.
2-1 on Adrianza. Now a phone call goes out to the Royals bullpen. It is 3-1 with Dozier on deck. Looks like Scott Alexander will be the first one up, and while they're rolling the tarp away, Alexander just playing catch with himself, throwing it up against a wall. That's into the corner and foul off the side wall.
That's a weighted ball, in case you're wondering what that is. It helps him get loose quicker and also give him a little bit of strength.
Vargas had retired 8 of 9 coming into the 5th inning. Rosario reached on an infield single. Vargas walked. Jimenez is struck out. And now Adrianza pops it up back and out of play. Remember, every time the Royals turn a double play, the next day McDouble sandwiches are only $1 at participating McDonald's in the greater KC, St. Joe, and Lawrence locations. The next double play Adrianza grounds into will be his first.
Okay, make it firm then. Make it a good 2-hopper to Eske.
Line drive, base hit left field. Rosario holds at third, and the bases are loaded for Dozier.
Don't want to let them back in. Time for a mound visit from head mechanic Dave Island. Had to come in he had to come in. He didn't want to walk him, so he challenged him right down the middle. As they give Alexander a little bit of time to get loose, I believe Dave's trying to talk Vargas into what we've been talking about. A little lane ball here. Put him in the lane. Keep the ball down. Don't elevate. Don't give Dozier an opportunity to get them back in this game.
Twice Vargas has gotten Dozier with a changeup. Struck him out with a changeup in the first, and then on a first pitch changeup in the third, Dozier popped out to short.
So Dozier probably in the back of his mind is looking for the changeup, which can be dangerous for him if it's well placed by Vargas. That's a pitch you just almost have to react to.
He's done well this year with the bases loaded, but over his career, that's not been a good situation for him.
Oh.
Fouled off of Salvi. 1-2.
See, he's trying to get under it with that swing there. Look at the spread between his legs and that back leg bent. He's all strided out there. Dozier, but he's looking to elevate. He wants to lift. Vargy really wants to keep her down. Don't help him elevate. Make Dozier lift it. Yep. See Salvi. He's saying, all right, let's outthink him here.
2-2.
Turning point in the game for Vargy right here.
Breaking ball, grounded to Escobar. Out at second. Double play. I had him all the way, Hud. I don't know what you were so nervous about.
Give Island a raise. He went out there and told him to put him in the lane, and look what happened. Well, I'll tell you, Vargy takes direction well. Fantastic. Vargas today. That's a deserved hug from your skipper, saying well done. And just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Told you it was a turning point for Vargas, and man, did it turn. Watch this is the most important at-bat of the game for Vargy. Dozier, he's a power hitter. He could change the game with one swing of the bat. Vargy says, I got to put him in the lane. He went soft. Look at that. 6, 4, 3. Roll him up. Ham and eggs on a Sunday. Routine. Had him all the way.
Eric Hosmer has 2 hits today. Both came in the second inning. He led off the second with a single and he scored. And then he capped the 6-run inning with an RBI single, both to the opposite field. One against Bartolo Colon, the other against Nick Turley. Dylan G took over in the 4th. Alex Gordon opened the inning with a bunt single, but then Dylan G got a ground ball double play, the 10th turn by Minnesota in this series. Off of his ankle.
Well, the first 2 swings in this at bat against Dylan G Haas is kind of coming out of his shoes. He doesn't pull the ball all that often. Ooh, back leg. His back ankle. But those first 2 hacks, he was trying to hook one down the line. That's for sure. That is not his strength. Although if he makes a mistake up in there, he could definitely pull you. We've seen it. He prefers ball middle out. Middle away.
Other way, he's 3 for 3. Will he try for 2? Yes. In there with a leadoff double.
Oh, look at the love he's getting from his teammates in there, and why not? Let's check out the series for Haas. All right, you want base hits, you got them. Center field, right field, center field. Hits it where it's pitched. You want left, you got that. 1, not 2. How level is that? And how good is he? Knocking runs in, being the leader on this ball club, no question about it. Look at that feather shot. Come on. We just got through telling you how he don't like to pull the ball. He'll take an inside pitch to the opposite field when he wants to. Did that, and he earned it with a leg double. Nice job.
Salvi hit it off the end of the bat. And caught by Adrianza in left field. Salvi's 1 for 3. 10 out of 13 in the series. And with 2 walks, he's been on base 12 times. Has a chance, a very good chance now, to be the first Royal ever to hit 400 in a season against the Minnesota Twins. He is now at 420. So we'd have to play 17 innings today for him to dip below 400. Now Moustakas, deep left center field, and Buxton has it on the track. It didn't sound great, but he's so strong and the wind is blowing out that way. But Buxton runs it down, and Hosmer goes to third with 2 down.
Yeah, it sounded good. I got a little excited for a minute, thinking he could go opposite field, but then I forgot who was playing center. Buxton. No chance to get any extra bases there. Haas tagged at second, and you know, the 3 more hits he's gotten today, I'm not surprised. He's leading the league in day batting average at 363 coming into this game. Now that average is going to go even higher. Rhino, I bet you could guess who's number 2. BA.
Wow, so he's in front of.
He is.
Wow.
Yeah.
There is a category where Jose Altuve does not lead the league.
How about it?
Oh, and 2 on Moss. He doubled in a run and scored in the 6-run second inning.
Well,
he is 1 for 2.
Haas could have passed Elvis Andrus of Texas for 2nd place now in hits in the American League, behind Altuve. Depending on what Andrus does, he's ahead of him now, coming in right now. 3 more hits. Missed it.
Buxton makes a play going on to the warning track. So the Royals aren't able to turn Hosmer's double into a run. Scott Alexander will pitch the top of the 6th. Today, Minnesota got 1, the Royals got 6, and it's 6-1 in the top of the 6th inning. Sign the kids up for Sluggers Blue Crew. Remember, this year's membership includes a Blue Crew jersey, a flat bill cap, special edition earbuds, Royals eye black, 2 home game ticket vouchers, and much more for just $30. And you can sign them up right now at royals.com/bluecrew.
That ice cream looks good. Daddy, way to be there to clean her up. That's it. Next bite, please.
Scott Alexander was warming up as Jason Vargas was getting into trouble in the 5th inning, but then Vargas got a huge double play with the bases loaded and Brian Dozier at the plate. So Alexander begins the 6th. A strike to Joe Mauer. He is grounded out and lined out.
Get the paintbrush out on that. Paint in the corner with that sinker. Sinker slider. 2 pitches. He's more 85%, 90% sinkers. Sliders to lefties.
That thing looks like a splitter.
Sure does. Interesting how he holds it too. He doesn't hold the ball back in his palm. He holds it out there on his fingertips.
2-1 on Mauer.
See if we can get a shot of him there gripping that ball. He likes to put it behind his back. Show you. See, it's not back in his there's his thumb in there. He's got it up on his right on his fingertips. Amazing he can even get a grip on it like that. When get that kind of velocity. He's low to mid-90s with it. Now Dave Island believes he's better at 92 because the less velocity allows the ball to sink better. See how he's holding that grip? It's called a one-seamer. And he learned that from former Minnesota Twin Scott Erickson. Thank you.
Monday was another one of those rescue innings when he came into the game in the middle of the inning. Just outside, 3-2.
Pretty tough for Mauer to lay off of that one. He was hoping, Alexander was, for a swing and miss. He's going to have to come into it.
Got him, and that might have been ball 4.
Yeah. See, 2 pitches in a row. I told you how hard it was for him to lay off of that last one. And now 3-2, he's believing he's going to get a cookie. And he walks away shaking his head, asking home plate umpire Alan Porter, was that a strike? And Alan Porter, much to Mauer's disdain, said, no, you got yourself out.
Jorge Polanco with 1 out. Chops it out to Escobar. So far, a good day on the mound for the Royals. 2 down in the top of the 6th inning. All that talk recently about Jason Vargas and his second half compared to his first half. And Vargas went 5 today, giving up 1 run on 4 hits.
That'll be great for his confidence. Maybe a couple of starts left down the stretch.
A strike on Eduardo Escobar. He is 0 for 2. And another ground ball.
Shocker.
Hosmer pulls it out of the dirt. So Alexander, with 10 pitches, gets a strikeout and 2 ground balls to send it to the bottom of the 6th.
Scotty boy killing the worms here at the K.
Second inning. And have Alcides Escobar, Alex Gordon, and Whit Merrifield coming up in our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Brennan Thomas from Marshall. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Brennan wins $500. A grand slam out of the park is worth $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. Alcides Escobar is 1 for 2. He drove in 2 in the 6-run second inning and scored a run. And now he's asking Alan Porter, was that called a strike? Base hit left field, jumped on a hanging breaking ball. And that's the 3rd straight inning the Royals have had a leadoff hit against Dylan G. They did not score that leadoff man in the first 2 innings. Alex Gordon is 2 for 2. He has a bunt single and a ram drive of the game back in the second inning.
Opposite field. Great touch. Perfect placement. He'll take it. Scoring Escobar. Stay hot, Alex.
To Dozier. Out at second. Double play. Number 11 in this 4-game series for the Minnesota defense. Adding to a record. 10 was the record for the Royals in a 4-game series. Now it's 11.
That's about as far as you can get to backhand flip it to the shortstop as Dozier was right there. But you can see how much quicker it was. But, you know, young players out there listening, don't look at that. He's a big leaguer. He can make that play. Don't you try it. You'll flip that ball into left field, allow the inning to keep going, and runs will score. Can't get 2 unless you get the first one. First man sure.
Whit grounded into a double play in the 4th inning. That's when Dylan G took over. He gave up a bunt single to Alex and got the double play from Whit. And then Dylan G worked around a leadoff double in the 5th. And now after a leadoff single in the 6th, he has a double play. 2 balls and 1 strike. What? 2-1. Two balls and 2 strikes. Full count on Whit. Lorenzo Cain is on deck, and they're going to work again in the Minnesota bullpen. Ball 4 inside. Whit is on with 2 outs. Dylan G just 3 years ago was the New York Mets opening day starter. Here comes the Twins pitching coach Neil Allen. He was their 21st round draft pick in 2007. Out of the University of Texas Arlington. The proud alma mater of our good buddy Gene Watson.
Gino.
And when he first got to the big leagues, he won his first 7 decisions in 2011 and then was the Mets opening day starter in 2014. RBI Baseball 2017 returns with fast-paced pick up and play MLB action on consoles and mobile. RBI Baseball is packed with your favorite teams, players, ballparks, and more. And you can learn more at RBIGame.com and get RBI Baseball today for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Dylan G has quick feet, good move to first base. We saw that last year when he was with the Royals.
Whitley, he's just 3 steals away from Jose Altuve in leading steals. He's got 28 now. I talked to him yesterday about that. I said, is that on your mind at all? And he goes, no, I occasionally look, but I didn't realize I was closing in. That'd be a nice little feather in his cap if he could lead the league in steals. Boy, I'll tell you, he's had a season.
That's deep into center field. Buxton, fighting the sun, makes a play.
Whoa.
Well, he went to the right spot. You get the feeling he didn't see it all the way, but when it came down, there he was.
Great play. Man, that guy's good.
Royals baseball is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Jeep. Hurry in for great deals during the Jeep Celebration event. It only happens once a year. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less. Scott Alexander will pitch the 7th after a quick 1-2-3 6th inning. Jason Vargas went 5 and gave up 1 run. Alexander will get Buxton, Rosario, and Vargas. Low ball 1 to Buxton. He tripled and scored Minnesota's run in the 2nd inning, coming home on a sacrifice fly from Eddie Rosario. Every spring training, right about the time the games start, or maybe a week into the games, I will find Dave Island and I will ask him, who are 3 guys that maybe we're not that aware of that we should be paying attention to? 2-1 on Buxton. And it's that time because they haven't made big roster moves yet, so we're going to see some guys pitch in the big league games who eventually will probably end up in the minor leagues. But who should we keep an eye on? 2-2 on Buxton. And 2 spring trainings ago, Dave Island said Scott Alexander. Wow. Keep an eye on Scott Alexander. Alexander the Great. There's a good one.
That's beautiful. He is.
He gets a strikeout at Buxton, and he is really turning into something special.
Especially after the hardship he went through in his personal life. That bowling ball sinker is devastating pitch.
Yeah, you could look at Alexander's career and you go, okay, 6th round pick in 2010. So just a nice steady climb through the minor leagues, paying his dues, getting a little bit better along the way, finally getting to the Royals in 2015. 0-1 on Rosario, but not so fast. Drafted in 2010. You know, he missed all of 2011 with shoulder surgery. In 2012, he injured his knee and played only 1 month. 0-2 on Rosario. So his first two full professional seasons, he pitched 1 month. And then when he finally got back on track, he got to the big leagues. Last year he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes.
Wow, yeah, I can't. Yeah, that story's incredible. I mean, you know, think about it. That's called persevering and not letting your past failures and bad fortune take you into today. And look at him. He's moving past it. Encouraging. Right up there with lowest ERA amongst the best because of that sinker right there.
Strikeouts and groundouts. 2 down in the 7th inning. Hope you'll join us for Armed Forces Night presented by Price Chopper, Quick Trip, and Folds of Honor. That's tomorrow against the White Sox. And arrive early. There'll be a special pregame ceremony as we honor those men and women who have served and those still in active service. You can get your tickets right now at Royals.com/tickets or at 1-800-6-ROYALS.
But you know what he's done with that diabetes is he hasn't just, you know, recovered and moved forward with that. He's reached out to others, young people that are going through that, and he's been a source of encouragement to them.
Yeah, he did that immediately. He decided that he wanted to take a personal setback and use it to help others, especially kids. Kids who are wondering, you know, can I still play sports? You know, what can I do from a sports activity standpoint now that I've been diagnosed with diabetes? So he did that immediately. He lost 25 pounds and didn't know why. And he doesn't have 25 pounds to lose. From the beginning of spring training until about 2 months into the regular season, he had been sent down and was diagnosed at AAA and was losing weight, energy, fastball velocity was down, and now he's got it managed and is becoming one of the most dependable ground ball lefties in baseball. And now Vargas is on with 2 down.
Yeah, now he didn't mean to walk Vargas, but I've heard him say before that when asked the question, when your sinker's not working or you're struggling, what do? And he says, I don't worry about it because my sinker's going to come back to the next hitter and he's going to hit a little ground ball and I'm going to get out of the inning. So let's see if he can make that happen here. When you can rely on that pitch, that one pitch like that that moves down at that velocity, you know, it's tough for a hitter to get under it. You can hit the top of the ball.
And he's getting to a point now where he is able to manipulate his grip, his release point, and get his sinker to do different things based on what he needs. It's not just a one-trick pony, if you will.
Yep.
There's the ground ball. A force out at second base, and that's 2 scoreless innings for Scott Alexander. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals lead by 5, and they have Melky Cabrera, Eric Hosmer, and Salvador Perez coming up. That's the big story here. Big story in baseball would involve Steven Strasburg. 3-2 win today against the Phillies. He had 10 strikeouts and 8 shutout innings in what ended up being a 3-2 game. He has 34 consecutive scoreless innings. So at the moment, a 19.5 game lead for Washington. That moves their magic number to 1. Miami leads at Atlanta 6-5 in the top of the 9th inning. If Atlanta were to come back and win that game, then Washington would be the first to clinch a division this year. Our T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break. Wilson Ramos, who is originally out of the Minnesota Twins organization, had a big day today. Jose Abreu, after hitting for the cycle in the game last night, has his 30th home run. 3rd time in 4 years he's done that. And Yadier Molina helping the Cardinals hang in there in both the wild card and the National League Central.
Yeah, you know, this could be the first time that Washington gets out of the first round of the playoffs. I like the Nationals. I like the fact that their shortstop, their speedster, their table setter, Turner is back. Kid had a setback by breaking his wrist, but we'll see. John Curtis stepping in now. ERA a little bit high. He only has 3 1/3 innings though. He's got good stuff. Right-hander fastball slider change. 94 to 97. Good lively heater.
He is the 4th Minnesota pitcher. Melky Cabrera is 0 for 2 so far today with a walk. And he's on the first pitch and fouls it away. 0-1. Royals scored all 6 of their runs in the 2nd inning. Minnesota scored its run in the 2nd inning. Oh, 0-2. Bartolo Colon, Minnesota starter, went an inning and 2/3 and was charged with all 6. That'll be backing out of play. Nick Turley went an inning and a 1/3. And Dylan G just went 3 scoreless innings, getting around a leadoff base hit in each of his 3 innings. Minnesota Twins have turned 3 more double plays today. 11 in the series. Base hit left field, and Adrianza and the Twins were anticipating that. Adrianza was shallow in left, but Melky hits it to him on one bounce, and that's Melky's first hit of the day.
Yeah, one too many heaters. I mean, look, you throw a professional hitter that many fastballs, he's going to find it. He's going to bust it. You got it on top of it. Good swing to left.
Eric Hosmer is 3 for 3, and he's hitting .326. Curtis challenges him with a fastball.
You got a fastball that good, you know, that with that velocity, you know, upper 90s, you throw it. Challenge the hitter. You put it in the right spot. It's tough for him to hit and square it up.
1 ball, 1 strike. He has 174 hits. So needing 26 to get to 200, and the Royals will have 20 games after today.
That's a lot of hitting with some runners on.
He did not go. Andy Fletcher is the umpire at third. A full count.
Haas wants that 4th hit. I mean, he'll take the walk, but the way it looks, Curtis is just challenging guys with heaters. Here it comes. Be ready.
There it is, and that's going to roll deep. Buxton cuts it off before it gets to the wall. So Melky holds at third, and Eric Hosmer is 4 for 4. So now he's 25 hits away from 200.
Stay hot. 10th career 4-hit game. Really? Curtis did him a courtesy. Center cut heater to a hot hitter. He's not going to miss that. That's as good as you can square a ball up. Yeah, I'd have a smile on my face too. Sizzling, scalding lava, hot in this series.
That gets him to 328 for the year. Ball 1 on Salvi. Salvi in that 6-run second inning singled and scored, and then the second time he came up in the inning he just missed a 3-run home run, and then he just missed a 2-run double. Dozier goes out, and it drops. Cabrera scores. Hosmer holds at second. It is 7-1, and that looked like a difficult play the moment Salvi put the ball in the air. It's a single and an RBI for Salvi.
Yes, glad that the official scorer saw it that way, because for Dozier, that ball was hit a mile high, but still the sun is, he's drifting on it and never could really get his footing behind him.
If I'm the second baseman right there, I'm thinking, where's the right fielder?
Yeah.
And Dozier never gave up on it because no one was calling for it, but when it hit the ground, Rosario is just standing there. And now Mike Moustakas with 2 on and nobody out. Fastball over the outside edge. One ball, one strike. He has one home run in his last 20 games. In the 5th inning, he just missed number 37 with a fly ball to the track and center. 2-1. He doesn't appear to be trying for it. You know, when you say he has one home run in his last 20, we know how much the next one means to him, but it's not because he's trying too hard. He's hitting the ball to all fields. 2-2. He's getting a lot of base hits to left center, right center. He's not muscling up and popping out, striking out.
No, he's doing a nice job of hitting it where it's pitched and competing. Coming in right at 280 average wise. That's impressive. He's hitting all of it.
Got him with a fastball at 96, and that is out number 1. The Red Cross depends on financial donations to be able to provide disaster relief immediately. Help people affected by Hurricanes Harvey and Irma by visiting redcross.org or texting the word Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation.
And that's the best thing that we can do for those in Florida and Houston. And who knows where it'll be next.
Brandon Moss drove in one of the 6 runs in the 2nd inning. 0-2. Nothing fancy so far from John Curtis. Basically, here it is.
I like it. He's you know, challenging guys. He's teams down by 6. Just go ahead and challenge him. Here it is.
Two balls, 2 strikes. This is the 6th consecutive inning the Royals have had their leadoff man on. Royals have 7 runs, 14 hits, and they went down 1-2-3 in the 1st inning. 3-2 ever since then. They've had base runners all over the place. Top foul. Ryan Buchter is getting ready for the top of the 8th inning. He'll be pitching with at least a 6-run lead. And Minnesota has its 9-1-2 hitters coming up. A good day at the plate, especially for Eric Hosmer, who has 4 hits. It's also been a good day on the mound for the Royals today. And Moss drills it deep to right field, and that's worth 3.
Majority of fastballs to a big league hitter, this is going to happen sooner or later. Center cut again, right there in the middle, and Moss is not missing. Short, compact swing. He's in his trot before he leaves the batter's box. Beautiful swing. Good to see Moss heating up. That's his 19th.
And 6 against Minnesota.
Yeah, 39th ribby. Atta baby.
Another pitching change for the Twins.
Crowd here today at the K are getting entertained. 10-1, 7th inning. Watch this pitch sequence. 95, 95, away, away, away. Everything's out of the zone, and that's what a pitcher wants to do. But the one time that you miss in the middle, watch what happens. Oh, sorry. 96 down the middle is not missed here in the big leagues. That's right, and Moss made him pay. That was a beauty. His 19th.
Couple of changes here. Michael Tonkin is pitching for Minnesota, making just his 10th appearance. He was a September call-up, and Raul Mondesi is batting for Alcides Escobar.
Tonkin 87-93, sinking fastball slider.
That is out number 2. Alex Gordon has 2 hits today. A bunt single, a double. He has driven in a run. He has scored a run. And he has grounded into a double play, which is the 11th by the Minnesota Twins in this series.
That's unbelievable. 5, 6 is a big number. That's like, hey, that's a good job. But 11?
Royals had never grounded into more than 9 in a 4-game series. That's the third baseman Escobar, so 5-3 to end the bottom of the 7th inning. But the Royals get 4-3 on the Brandon Moss home run. summary, the Royals have 2 big innings. These are the hits of a 6-run second inning, all charged to Bartolo Colon, who went just an inning and 2/3. Eric Hosmer had 2 hits in that inning, and he has 4 for the day. And then the Royals had a 4-run 7th inning, capped by a Brandon Moss 3-run home run. So the Twins took the first 2 games of the series. The Royals bounced back, scoring late last night, and now this afternoon going for a 4-game split, a 10-1 lead going into the 8th.
Man, that's a breath of fresh air right there, to be able to attempt to try to split this series, and it looks like it's possible it's going to happen. Game's not over, but still, that's exactly what you wanted after the first 2 losses here in this series. And now Buchter's in.
And the Royals have made several other defensive changes. Adrianza takes a strike. We'll begin with Drew Butera, giving Salvador Perez the rest of the day off. Cheslor Cuthbert is at first base. Buchter got a glove on it, and Adrianza will take full advantage of that. He has an infield base hit. Mondesi stays in the game at shortstop after hitting for Escobar. Ramon Torres is at third, and Paulo Orlando is in center.
It's a great opportunity for these guys to get in the game. I'm telling you, playing on a day like today and getting out in front of this nice big 35,000 plus crowd, much better than riding a pine.
This is Nico Goodrum, who made his big league debut last weekend against the Royals. He is 0 for 8 since being called up.
Doing with him. Buchter's, he's got a fastball slider cutter combination. That's all he throws. He comes right at guys. Can be tough.
Tell me if this sounds like a playoff contending team. Ready?
Okay.
16 starting pitchers, 51 players, 13 of which made their big league debut. Does that sound like a playoff contending team?
It sounds like the Minnesota Twins of last year. Lost over 100 games.
Well, that would be the Minnesota Twins of this year. 1 on, 1 out. Our attendance today, 35,003. So the Royals are over 2 million for a 3rd consecutive year. They hadn't done that since 1989, 90, and 91. Robbie Grossman strokes it to left field. He is batting for Mauer. Grossman to second. He'll have a double. Adrianza stops at third.
Grossman makes him 2 for 9 as a pinch hitter off the bench for this man right here, Paul Molitor. Now you mentioned all of those starting pitchers, all the players, and you'd think this guy would get a contract extension.
Yeah, he is unsigned for 2018. I don't know how bad the Minnesota Twins would have to play in the last 3 weeks for him not to be American League Manager of the Year, but it would be pretty bad.
You would hope that he would get that award.
Mitch Garver takes high ball 1. But there is a new regime in place for the Twins, which took over last year. Derek Falvey was named their chief baseball officer. He had been an assistant GM with the Indians. So there's always, a chance for change when you get a brand new regime. Terry Ryan had been general manager forever.
These players that are all performing right now for Paul Mauter are under Terry Ryan's watch. He's the one who acquired these players, so good for him. And then
that's Thad Levine, who is the senior vice president and general manager. Three and one on Garver. I brought this up when we were in Minnesota, Hud. And in defense of the Twins, I mean, they lost 103 games last year, and they were sinking when the trading deadline occurred. But by being sellers, could you imagine if they missed a playoff spot because their bullpen fell a little short in the last week or so? Or they were one starter short in the last week?
Yeah. That could make some Minnesota Twins fans talk about it.
Mondesi makes the play for the second out. Now's your chance for a great deal on tickets through the MLB Ballpark app. Get half-price view level or outfield plaza tickets for Monday through Thursday games for the rest of the season. This offer is only available through the Ballpark app, so hop on your phone and get your tickets before it's too late. Way upstairs to Eduardo Escobar. You know, and one of the reasons Minnesota started selling off players at the deadline is because they weren't even convinced next year was going to be a competitive year. I mean, there's still a lot of holes that they've been able to patch up with duct tape this year. But the record is what it is. Mondesi is out and makes a play in front of Gordon and Orlando. Ryan Buchter gets around 2 hits in the top of the 8th inning. The Royals lead 10-1. Eighth inning. So the Royals hope to be 2.5 back of that second wild card spot. New York is beating up on Texas. That is good news for the Royals. Bad news for Minnesota. They want that top wild card spot. The Angels are closest to Minnesota. They're down early in Seattle. Baltimore will be at Cleveland later tonight. Royals will continue to make changes as they bat in the bottom of the 8th. Jorge Bonifacio will bat for Whit Merrifield. That'll be fun watching him play second base in the top of the 9th inning.
Hey, look, he'd love it.
Whit Merrifield was 1 for 3 with a double, an RBI, and a walk. Also scored a run. Ned Yost already has Mondesi in, Torres, Butera, Orlando, Cuthbert, now Bonifacio, who will most likely go into right. Paulo Orlando is on deck. He's already been announced into the game, and Cam Gallagher has a bat in the Royals dugout. So more changes as the Royals bat in the bottom of the 8th. The Royals have 2 big innings today. They have a 6-run second and a 4-run 7th. Bonifacio is out number 1. Start your day with First Things First. Weekday mornings on FS1 with host Chris Carter and Nick Wright as they kick off the day with the latest in sports. First Things First, weekdays at 5:30 a.m. on FS1. A busy Don Wakamatsu lineup card. The first coach that I remember using calligraphy was Jerry Narin when he was bench coach in Texas. I think he was Johnny Oates' bench coach, and then he eventually became a big league manager for a short time.
Jerry Narin.
Don Wakamatsu was a coach in the Rangers organization.
Might have picked up some of that from Jerry. Who knows? It's nice work, though. Sure does make it fancier than it already is. Hey.
That is over Rosario and up against the wall and now over the wall. That would have been an easy triple for Paulo Orlando, but it is a rule book double, and he's at second base with 1 out.
Boy, he put a shot into that. That was a nice swing. Too bad it didn't stay in to give us a chance to watch Paulo run the bases.
So Cam Gallagher will bat in Melky Cabrera's spot. That is 16 hits for the Royals today. Do the Royals have enough? Do they have enough time to get a wild card spot? We'll find out in the next 3 weeks, but they continue to hang in there. They continue to be resilient. And it was deflating to lose the first 2 games of the series. You know, the Royals were just 2.5 back of Minnesota. You never want to put limits or make predictions on a series, but if they were honest, they were expecting at least to take 3 out of 4 if they really wanted to make a move, not just on Minnesota, but all the other teams that they have to pass. And then you lose the first 2 games and suddenly you're 4.5 back, and there are other teams who might just say, well, all right, let's just fold up our tent, call it a year. And the Royals rallied late last night, got 3 in the 8th inning, and now they're up big in the 4th game of this series and hoping to end this series where they began, 2.5 back.
Yeah. Hey, look, there's no quitting that man we just showed you, Ned Yost, or his team. And as unpredictable as they've been over the last 5 years, and with the ups and downs, you can't count them out. There's too much left. All they got to do is have a few good starters step up. They go get to that pin, figure out who's going to step up in that bullpen here late. We know the offense is there. Heck, why not? It's the beauty about the extra wild card that was brought in a few years ago, and giving all these cities and teams hope this time of year. It's been a beautiful thing. But
Kevin McCarthy will pitch the ninth.
I think we have legitimate hope here based on our track record.
Oh, 2 on Cuthbert. The Royals have a 3-game series with the White Sox beginning here tomorrow night, and Chicago is 31 games below 500. They are beating up on San Francisco 8-1 in the 9th inning. Cuthbert hits it into left field. Paulo Orlando comes racing around third, and the Royals lead by 10. Cuthbert on an 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, he reached out there. Looked like a slider on the outer half. Off the end of the bat, good aim, right in the hole.
Drew Butera takes outside. Jimenez gets rid of the mask and makes the play. Royals add a run in the bottom of the 8th inning. It is 11-1 KC.
Finish this one up. Final game of the year against the Twins. White Sox in next, but after this one on Boulevard Royals Live, Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, and we will talk about some big crooked numbers. Multiple innings with lots of offense for the boys in blue today, plus a milestone for Jason Vargas. Big bounce back for him. Monty will analyze that. We'll hear from Ned Yost and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Ryan?
Thank you, Joel. Here's Kevin McCarthy, and on the topic of milestones, it was 1 year ago today that Kevin McCarthy won his first big league game. Interesting, 1 year ago yesterday, he made his big league debut at the White Sox. He faced one batter, Tim Anderson, and he got the out.
I remember.
The next night, he faced one batter, Tim Anderson, and got a strikeout, and that's how he got his first big league win.
Yeah, that's awesome. But remember, we were talking about what a large family he comes from and all the brothers and sisters that he has.
One of 8 kids.
Okay, and then we showed a shot in the stands of a bunch of young people up there, probably a group of 15 to 20, and I was saying, oh man, nice to see his family could show up. Come to find out, those are all just his buddies. Not one of them was a family member. And so we laughed about that. But he's going good. I like him. I think he has a legitimate opportunity to be in that pen next year again. Strong 4-pitch mix, heavy sinker, low to mid 90s, good competitor, likes to challenge guys.
The milestone that Joel was talking about, Jason Vargas will win his 15th game today. That's a new career high for him.
Good for him. And good for the support he got, the runs.
Two and two on Zach Granite. Up the left field line, and it will drop. No need to risk bodily harm in a 10-run game in the 9th inning.
No. Catch he made earlier today would have caused a lot of bodily damage to a lot of people if they didn't have the skill and the knowledge of the ballpark like Alex does. He on a dead run, ball was hit right to the face. He catches it and turns around and crashes right into the wall, but he put both of his forearms up and cushioned the blow.
Three and two on Granite. Granite takes a leadoff walk. Well, with 11 runs, 17 hits, there are several candidates for our Honda plays of the game, but let's go to Eric Hosmer, who had a 4-hit game today.
Sure did. Look at that. Left field, left field, left field, left field. Beautiful. Look at the ball, what he's doing. He's hitting it right where it's pitched. He's squaring it up. You rarely see him get a doinker. Most of his hits are all clean and hard. And that's because he's got skills, no doubt, but he's got a good level swing. And he waits for his pitch lots of times. Leads the team in walks, so he's not up there just flailing and bailing. Hoss, he had a walk today. Let me see. Nope, he got all hits. He's got 59 walks. One more will be 60 walks. That leads the team.
Butera at first base now. He goes to the bag and gets Rosario, one down. Butera's at first. Torres has gone from third to second. Cuthbert has gone from first to third. And Bonifacio goes in right. Gallagher is behind the plate. Fouled away by Vargas. Don't forget tomorrow night, as the Royals begin a 3-game series with the White Sox, it's our This One's For You broadcast as we honor our men and women in armed forces and hook up with the 35th Infantry Regiment of the Missouri and Kansas National Guards.
I'm looking forward to that.
Also have special pregame ceremonies here at the ballpark before the game, so if you're coming, get here early.
No, and we also want to encourage you that are coming to make signs for our military. We'll be talking to a lot of the officers and men and women that are in Kuwait, which will be 3 o'clock in the morning, start of the game there. But they'll be up. Bring some signs of support. That'll be great. Make them feel special. That's what it's all about.
And we're expecting at least 400 family members to be here.
Yeah. And the game will be televised on the Armed Forces Network across the world. It's going to be a great day tomorrow.
Vargas hits it deep to right center field and gone. A 2-run home run for Kenny Vargas. That is his 10th.
Talked about the size. He's a big boy. If I had that size, I'd be playing across the parking lot. But he's a baseball player, and he got good hands and is strong and knows how to hit. Watch him. Ooh, man, that ball's it was down. Good swing.
Upstairs to Jimenez. Minnesota actually led in this game very briefly, but they scored in the top of the 2nd inning on an Eddie Rosario sac fly, and the Royals would go on to score 11 runs before Minnesota gets 2 in the 9th inning. And now Jimenez was thinking about heading to second base, and Alex Corin just stood out in left field, daring him to try for 2. He'll hold with a single. Adrianza with a runner at first and 1 out. Now Gallagher is going to go out and have a chat with McCarthy. I go back to something Monty told me years ago, that when a pitcher is in a situation like this, and for Monty it would be a non-save situation. McCarthy is not a closer, and yet when you have a big lead like this, you just kind of feel the pressure to just throw strikes and get this thing over with. And now Adrianza deep to center field. Paulo makes the play up against the wall.
Your last name doesn't have to be Buxton to make a play like that. That's Paulo Orlando. Great to see him back out there, and the fans really appreciate him. Look at that. He's getting a standing ovation. That ball was powdered. I thought I had a chance to get out of here at the K. Oh, Paulo said, nope, nope, not on my watch. Concentration. Time to jump just in time. A little crash landing. Well done.
And now Goodrum. And just to follow up on that thought, you know, Monty's point was, you know, you kind of get out of your game because you just feel like they're going, come on, throw strikes, let's get this thing over with. And that's not necessarily the best approach when you're out there.
Yeah, well, And the hitters know that too. Hitters know when the score is lopsided like this, you're going to get a lot of heaters. Be ready to jump on them.
Nico Goodrum struck out looking in the 8th inning. He is 0 for 9 as a big leaguer. It is 2-1. So maybe that's the case for McCarthy in this inning, maybe not. In front of the Minnesota dugout, Cuthbert is there, and the Royals earn the split. And they do it the hard way. Losing the first 2 games of the series, winning in somewhat dramatic fashion last night, and then blowing out Minnesota this afternoon 11-3.
That's right, not letting Minnesota gain any ground after the 4-game series. You mentioned it, that's tough to come from behind, and when you're down 2-0 and it seemed like there might be some water being taken in the Royals ship, but not now. It's all emptied again. They're back to sailing and moving forward. White Sox coming to town. Folks, come on out and support them. I love the crowd today. They were here and made a big difference. Way to go, Vargy. Way to get back up on the beam. Offense supplied him with some runs. A big 6-run 2nd inning there. That was a beautiful thing. Took some pressure off him. Alex Gordon, stay hot, please. Carry this team the rest of this month. That would be a beautiful thing.
So we say goodbye to the Minnesota Twins. The Royals end up going 11-8 against Minnesota this year. Royals had won 4 consecutive season series with the Twins. The Twins win it this year. And now the Royals are 2.5 games back with 20 games to go.
There's time, but stay hot. Remember the good things and move forward. And thank you, folks here at the K, coming out and pumping them up.
35,003 here today. As the Royals get ready for a 3-game series with the Chicago White Sox beginning tomorrow night. It'll be Jason Hamill against Reynaldo Lopez. Let's go down to the field. Here's Joel.
All right, Alex Gordon has a 5-game hitting streak, and I know that is much less important than, first off, all right, let's go. All right. Anyway, I was saying forget about the 5-game hitting streak and more importantly, the victory. I know the mindset every day is just take it 1 game at a time, but after losing the first 2, how are you guys able to kind of recharge and get back to winning a must-have series?
Just a veteran team that knows how to be in these situations. You know, tough first 2 games, but you know, we didn't really look back. We looked ahead and knew that we had bigger plans in mind, and that was to take the next 2 games. So it was a good job by our team, and you know, all around baseball. So it was good to see.
You were part of that big inning against Bartolo Colon. Everybody hitting 2. What was the plan against a guy like that who has been around since before all of you were in the big leagues?
Well, I mean, yeah, he's been around. I've seen him a lot. You know, a lot of guys have seen him a lot. He's a good pitcher, good competitor. We know he's going to be around the zone, so we just came up aggressive and, you know, got good pitches to hit and didn't miss them. So it was just a good approach by our team.
Real quick before I let you go, just the importance of Jason Vargas to this team.
Oh, absolutely. All year long, he's been our Cadillac in the rotation. So we know what we're going to get out of him every time, and we got it again today. So Jason's been unbelievable this year, and it's good to see.
Great job today for you and everyone. Keep it going tomorrow against the White Sox.
Thank you, Joel.
Alex Gordon, and that Salvi splash, guys, felt really good on a warm day.
I'll bet it did. The temperature doesn't tell you exactly how warm it is today, so Alex pulls Joel in for a Salvi splash. All is good with an 11-3 win.